Good evening, my dear things. Welcome back, or welcome to the Cavern of Secrets. I'm Kasara, the host of this strange and unusual channel. I hope everyone had a good week and you're all doing fabulous, ready to kick back and relax for the weekend. It's finally Friday, so some of you know what that means, movie or TV show review. Now, some of you may not know, I've been a huge Addams Family fan since the black and white show, very first airing of it. I've been into gothic stuff at a very young age. So it's probably not surprising that I would fall in love with a gothic TV show. I thought skeletons were cool, skulls, all that type of stuff at a young age. I loved graveyards at a young age, mostly because the gravestones were pretty interesting. I was fascinated by horror at a young age, and I was researching monsters and cryptozoology creatures at a very young age as well. So, not that surprising. The whole bunch in the Addams Family was just incredible and made my dark little heart happy. The TV show was no different. Talking the modern day TV show. I did have my doubts, I will admit that to you. I know Tim Burton was behind it, but as much of a fan as I am of his, there have been a few of his movies that I just don't like. The Corpse Bride, Alice Through the Looking Glass, Beetlejuice, just to name a few. No, the majority of his movies I love. I'm a huge fan. I actually liked Alice in Wonderland, the one that he did. That was great, even though it should have been called Alice Through the Looking Glass. We're not getting into that. Just not getting into that. Anyways, so as soon as the show started and I was introduced to the people behind the show, I immediately knew I was going to like this. Danny Elfman was behind the music, and if you're not familiar with who that is, if you've seen The Nightmare Before Christmas, you're familiar with his work. Because he made the music for that film, and he also sang the Jack Skellington verses. He's an incredible person, and I think if somebody else did the music for The Nightmare Before Christmas, it would have been totally different. I think it would have fell apart. Just saying. Just saying. I'm also a big fan of Catherine Zeta-Jones, along with Louis Guzman. I think they chose perfectly for the cast. Now, I know some people were a little tiffed about Louis Guzman being Gomez, but if you look at the cartoon, not the TV show, not the original TV show, the cartoon, Louis Guzman actually fits perfectly. And Gomez was Latin American. Gomez, think about it. He just had a love for France, like the French, because romance. He's very romantic, which is what I loved about him. So I think Louis Guzman was perfect. I mean, he's a phenomenal actor. He's actually one of my favorite films, The Count of Monte Cristo. And Catherine Zeta-Jones, I've been a huge fan of her since Entrapment and Chicago, so I knew she could pull off Morticia, and she did. She did a phenomenal job. I'm not familiar with Jenna Ortega, I'll admit that. I only know her from Scream 5, and I thought she was pretty good in that film. However, she was an amazing Wednesday, and I think she was actually perfect. I was happy that Thing was in the show, and I even liked the classmates of Wednesday. Bianca is one of my favorites. She grew on me as the show progressed because you started to see who she is and where she comes from. More of her character development, basically, as the show progressed. I also adore Enid. She's adorable. I think she's so cute. Especially how hard she tries to be Wednesday's friend. It's just so cute. Moving on to the plot of the show, I thought it was a cool idea to have Wednesday kind of a detective trying to solve mysteries surrounding the school. It was pretty awesome going down the twists and turns, wondering what's happening and who's behind everything. I liked how I was thrown off many times. I hate when a show or movie basically gives it away early on. At least for me, it just ruins it for me. It's what ruins Scream 5 and Spiral. I knew immediately who was behind the entire problem, I guess you could say, or behind the murders right off the bat, so it just fell apart for me, both movies. They did an impeccable job, though, with this, and I'm hoping for a second season because it was so good. I loved the dance that Wednesday did at the Raven. It was spot on and fit her personality down to a T. I know some people hated it, they thought it was ridiculous, but if you look at her original dance from the black and white TV show to this one, it honestly fits. It would be probably something she would escalate up to as she grew. I'm actually sad that there were only 8 episodes, but I understand it's since the show was wrapped up pretty nicely with 8 episodes. I think if they extended it to the typical 12 episodes, it would have been a little watered down. For those of you that have seen the show, what did you think? Did you like the cast? What characters were your favorites? Were you surprised by the person behind everything? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much for sticking around till the end. Next week, I'll be discussing Hanukkah. I know some of you already may know about the holiday, but others may not know anything about it. So I figured I would discuss it since it is December already, hard to believe, and the holiday season. Next Friday, I'll discuss the Hindu Festival of Lights, which is known as Diwali. And Friday night, I'll share my review of Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. I will give a spoiler-free version, I promise. Just in case, you haven't seen it, I don't want to ruin the show. It is available to stream on Netflix if you have a subscription to the platform. Thank you again. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, please click that like and subscribe button to show your support for the channel and myself. I greatly appreciate it. Have a spectacular weekend. Take care until next time. Bye, everyone.